Talk about it a little bit, but you're facing a lefty quarterback. Does that change anything you do where you're moving guys around? And then what I'm asking is, like, does the right tackle for them become the left tackle and you're moving DNs around or linebackers or corners?
Not absolutely. The biggest thing that it does is it lets you know where his launch points are located, and when they try to move the pocket, to where they scramble.
Okay.
You know, when he gets a little uncomfortable in the pocket, where does he like to go when he throws the ball? And so what it does, it makes you very, very aware of his launch points and how he likes to scramble. But, you know, when you look at him across the board, he's very multiple in how he uses the field. He can throw it everywhere and make every throw.
I don't know. I mean, watching watching Wake Forest through the years, I mean, they've been like a run team, did some option. They've slowly gone into the pro-style attack. I mean, is it kind of weird to see that now with them? Because they were a team where they went to BC High School to run the ball a lot. Now they're just throwing it.
Well, I have to be honest with you. You know, up until playing these guys, I had known those guys. Their staff used to come and visit with us when I was at Oklahoma. So we have history together. We know each other. And what you saw the evolution. I probably visited with those staffs the last 4 to 5 years, and what you've seen is they're using what's in their cupboard. They got a guy who's multiple. They got a couple of good running backs who they can run zone with. You know, very athletic, very explosive backs, not very big. And what they've done is they built their program around their guys. And the one thing that you know about this by talking to some of the guys in the ACC, they're physical. You know, and you hear that from Florida State when you're talking to guys at Florida State, and when you're talking to guys at Virginia, that they're a physical football team. So they're just using the talent that they got available to them.
What do you notice about the big receiver they got, Givens? The guy's got 1,200 yards.
Well, you know something. The thing you notice about their receivers is that they're explosive. Number 2, number 81. I'm bad with names, but I'm great with numbers. And number 3. 3 and 2 are really explosive. They're the guys who can take the top off your coverage, and they're very dynamic once they get the balls in their hand. You know, number 81, who's their bigger receiver, he's more the possession guy. They really love him in the red zone, and he's a guy who makes a lot of big plays. He big, as our players say, he big boys receivers, and so he does a great job of doing that in the red zone. You have to know where he's at all times.
Coach, talk about obviously coming into the season, linebackers were kind of a question mark just because of experience. Was it just a matter of them getting more reps to why they developed the way they did this year?
Well, I believe if we go back and look at some of our interviews, I knew we had talent. You know, prior to this deal, it was just getting experience. And once you got those guys getting touches and getting experience and playing in ball games, you saw the evolution. Now, do you ever anticipate them being number 4 and 5 and tackles in the SEC? No, you know, I couldn't say that, but we knew we had the potential to be a really good crew.
Crickets.
Talk about the rest of the week as far as before the guys head off and your game plans for tomorrow.
Well, in our week, this is game week. What we try to do is we had a normal week, and what we want to do as a defense and Coach Mullen has done overall is make sure that we would be ready to play the game if we played Friday. So if we left here and we went to the hotel on Thursday evening, on Friday we should be prepared and ready to go play a football game. Then next week is just cleaning up and polishing the game plan. So you would have to say that probably 85 to 90% of our game plan's in. We'll kind of detail that out, you know, add, delete, and see what really fits us, and then we'll take that into next week and really just make everything as clean and sharp as we possibly can.
How confident do you guys feel if they had to go play this week against that passing offense? How confident do they feel in what they know?
Well, you know, we do what we do, first of all. And what we've been able to do is tweak that based on what we get in and week out. And so we feel confident in week 13 of the season. We know what we're capable of, and we know the issues that Wake Forest presents to us. And they've done a great job for 2 weeks of preparing and getting fundamentally sound. And like we talk about every week, you know, every week we go in focusing on the things that we can control. And the guys have done a tremendous job of doing that this week.
What's unique about that quarterback, Price? I guess he's a left-hander.
Well, A's a lefty, but he throws about 256 yards a game. I think that's somewhere there his stats. Yeah. What he does is he makes great decisions. He's got 20 touchdowns. He's got 7 interceptions. Most of those have been off tip balls. And before, he's never going to put his offense in a negative position. He may give up a sack, but he's very good on protecting the football, not allowing turnovers, and scoring points in the red zone. Where they really stand out is what they do in the red zone when it comes to scoring points.
You would tell linebackers just real quick, as much improvement as they've shown, how much does it help when you've got 2 guys like Cam and Brandon that just seem to be really close, have that great relationship?
It's like having a coach on the field. You know, they're an extension of our coaching staff. You know, the biggest thing we talk about every week is improving. Now, we don't talk very much about winning and losing. Obviously, that's our expectation is to win, but we really focus on measurables. And what they do is they go in every week and they prepare at a high level. And, I always use the analogy of my 15-year-old son. He goes, "Dad, I'm ready to drive. I'm ready to drive." But he's not prepared to drive. And so what those guys do is they really do a great job of going and preparing week in and week out. Our guys know it, and they become the standard for our defense.
Can you describe them maybe in the film room, just those two together? I mean, are they on the same wavelength, it seems like?
Well, what I notice this is when my car is here late, their cars usually are here. They're always here. They're gym rats. And what they do is they do a great job of preparing. I don't get to sit in with them often as much as we'd like to, but, they're always involved. They're always ahead of the curve in regards to, making checks, getting us into the right adjustments, which allows us defensively to do multiple things.
What do you see
Last
about
question.
would you see about safety for 2012? You wouldn't prefer to lose Charles and Wade Bonner, but you get Nico back. What did you see this week out of safety?
Well, I saw Jay Hughes evolve. I saw and make a lot of plays. I saw Lewis Watson play really, really well. Obviously, you anticipate Nico coming back. In my mind, he's an all-conference caliber football player. And one of the best players on our field, and those are the guys that you look at. And then you look at a guy like D. Arrington, who's really had a great week of practice. So, our future's bright. It's unlike anything. You really got to get those guys reps. The biggest thing that helped us was this bowl game, because you get an extra spring practice. And so anytime you can do that, you see from practice 1 to practice 15 the transformation with those guys.